Hello and welcome back to Kim's Cozy Corner. I'm Kim and it's super early in the morning, but it's supposed to be an extremely warm day today. So I wanted to get out here early to start harvesting some of the things that I couldn't get to a couple of days ago. So I'm back in the garden and we need to take care of these beans along with a few other things. So in my garden, I've gotten kind of behind on some of my typical task of harvesting, weeding, and some of those other things. And I tried to do as much as I could over the last few days to try to get back on track, got this new burst of energy to try to bring it home for the summer. But I couldn't get it all done in the time that I had, and I needed to work on some inside projects as well. But now we're back out here and we're going to try to pick these beans. These are pole beans and they produce all season long. Once they start, they never stop until basically the frost hit or they get some kind of disease. So let's start by picking these beans and then we will pick some other things as well. So my garden has become a bit of a jungle out here. We've had, honestly, last week, I consider this to be really, really good weather. But this week, we're back into another heat wave. And with the heat wave and the humidity, I just can't be out here in the garden during those times. My body can't handle it. It's unhealthy. And I prefer to do indoor projects during that time. So I am going to try to quickly get these beans picked before that temperature starts rising. So I am in Southwest Ohio, Zone 6A, and we are late August. I think it's August, 22nd? And typically this time of year, we've already started cooling down. We are not used to 90-degree days. And yesterday, the heat index was like 96 in our area, which that's not typically the temperatures we see this time of year. And today and the rest of the week, it's supposed to be very similar temperatures. So we are going to pick as much as we can, as quickly as we can, and then we're going to get inside and out of this really, really warm weather. These beans that I'm picking, there are only 8 plants here, only 8 plants. And these beans have been growing like crazy. They came in later than my bush beans, but that's typical for pole beans. Bush beans pretty much puts all of the beans on within a pretty short window, and then those beans kind of just dry out, pucker out, and then you get 1 or 2 beans, small harvest, I'll put it that way, for the rest of the season if you leave them in. Pole beans never stop. Once they start producing, they never stop until frost takes them out. So that's why I like pole beans, but they usually come in later than bush beans, and I'm always in a hurry to get that first harvest, so I plant both. Pole beans really like to climb, and so this year I built this cattle panel trellis out of early in the season. I put this cattle panel trellis in place, and I added cattle panel trellis to the whole garden. So if you want to get some really easy, what I call super affordable types of trellis up that'll last you a long time, you really should think about cattle panel trellising. And I have it throughout my garden, and I have a couple videos out there about cattle panel trellis if that's something you're interested in. And you'll see just how easy it is to set up and install. The disadvantage to cattle panel trellis is that when you purchase them, if you do like I did and get the 16-foot cattle panel trellis, you need a way to haul it from your feed and supply store, or wherever you're going to get your cattle panel from, you're going to need a way to transport it to your home. And if you don't have a truck like I don't, I had to find a friend to help me do that. But once you get it on site to your home, to your garden, to wherever you're going to bring it, it is super easy to set it up to become your trellising in your garden. Now, I should have picked these beans like 2 or 3 days ago. Some of them have gotten really, really big, and I prefer my beans young and tender, but for the ones that are really big, that may be a little tougher, I'll just get the beans out of them so we can still enjoy the beans. But most of these are like perfect in size. I believe these are Blue Lake pole beans, if you're interested in the variety. Let me show you how beautiful they are. Look at that. That's definitely what we call a messin of green beans. It's probably more than my family can eat sitting down for one meal. I think we got it. All right, we're gonna move over and pick some cucumbers next because I do have cucumbers that need to be harvested as well. Let's see if my basket's large enough. Suyo long cucumber right here. Ooh, and a squash. Let me grab that squash. Well, I think this is gonna be zucchini bread because I didn't know this bad boy was here. Just a slicing cucumber here. A few more. So these are my pickling cucumbers. And I tell you, I am probably harvesting a dozen every couple of days. Some of the cucumbers. I have a hybrid burpless cucumber right here. This is what I have so far, but we need to keep going. Okay, everyone, I'm back and it's much, much later in the day. I found out that the whole last segment of my video did not record. And it's not the camera's fault, it's my fault. I never hit record. So I wanted to show you what's left of the harvest that I started picking earlier this morning, and I've already started managing it. So only thing I got left in this basket at the moment is a few grapes, just a few. Still have some cucumbers, picked a few tomatoes. I have a handful or so of my okra. I had a cabbage. The cabbage is already gone and it's been processed. What else was in here? The squash has already been processed and is in my belly. It was delicious. Now that you've seen the harvest that, or what's left of the harvest for the day, I want to actually go back and show you all of the food that I managed and processed over the last week. So I have a few video clips here. I want to show you everything that I canned in one week. In this video here, it shows all of the different canning projects that I completed in a 1 week's time. This first set of cans here are dill pickles. They're chips and whole dill pickles. Here I'm holding up a jar of green beans. I think I did 3 of those. And this next set of jars are different types of greens. There are collard greens, mustard greens, as well as kale greens, curly kale and dinosaur kale. Next to it are some bread and butter pickles for my family who seem to love them now. I have quite a few jars of those and will make a ton more in the next coming week or so. I do have 1 jar of whole dill pickles in the back here, but most of these are definitely the bread and butter pickles. Right next to it, I have some spaghetti sauce as well as some pizza sauce. So in this jar here, this is pizza sauce for homemade pickles, and all of these tomatoes were canned at the same time. So I took 1 set of sauce and turned it into spaghetti sauce as well as pizza sauce. You just add a few different ingredients. And I have them set up ready to go for next year. This will give me the year's supply that I'm looking for in all of my vegetables for the home. This is a good week of canning. So now that you've seen everything that I've canned, I want to take just a moment and show you some very short clips of videos and still frames of the garden throughout the rest of the day. So every time I get a break, I head to the garden. I enjoy just walking through the garden and just seeing what's going on. And since I didn't record the last of the video, I figured I'll show you some of the still frames, and I'll show you some of the short videos that I captured throughout the day as I took breaks in the garden. Now, this isn't exactly how this video was supposed to end, so I hope you enjoyed the video, even with all of the mess ups and errors and not recording and everything else. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications and share. And until next time, I will see you back here again really soon. Bye.